It was an ordinary evening in the small town of Willow Creek. The sun was setting, casting long shadows through the trees that lined the streets. Most of the townspeople were inside their homes, enjoying the warmth and comfort of their living rooms. But there was a group of teenagers who were not content to stay indoors. They were known as the Willow Creek Wanderers, and they loved nothing more than exploring the woods and trails that surrounded their town. On this particular evening, they had decided to take a hike on a trail that was rumored to be haunted. The trail was called the Haunted Trail, and it was said to be haunted by the spirits of those who had lost their lives in the woods over the years. Some said they could hear the ghostly whispers of the deceased, while others claimed to have seen strange lights and shadows moving through the trees. The Willow Creek Wanderers were not afraid of ghosts or haunted trails. In fact, they were excited by the prospect of encountering something supernatural. They set out on their hike, armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure. As they walked deeper into the woods, the air grew colder, and the trees seemed to close in around them. The trail was overgrown and difficult to follow, but the Willow Creek Wanderers pressed on, determined to reach the end. Suddenly, they heard a noise up ahead. It was a low, mournful wail that sent shivers down their spines. They stopped in their tracks, listening intently. The noise grew louder and more intense until it seemed to be coming from all around them. The Willow Creek Wanderers looked at each other, their eyes wide with fear. They knew they had to keep moving, but the trail was becoming increasingly treacherous. The ground was uneven, and they stumbled over roots and rocks as they hurried along. Finally, they reached the end of the trail. It was a clearing in the woods, bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing was an old, dilapidated cabin. The Willow Creek Wanderers approached cautiously, their hearts pounding in their chests. As they got closer, they could hear a voice coming from inside the cabin. It was a woman's voice, and she was singing a hauntingly beautiful song. The Willow Creek Wanderers hesitated, unsure of what to do. But then they heard another sound. It was the sound of footsteps approaching from behind them. They turned around to see a figure emerging from the trees. It was a woman, dressed in old-fashioned clothes and carrying a lantern. The woman approached them, her eyes glowing in the darkness. She smiled at the Willow Creek Wanderers, her teeth sharp and gleaming. "Welcome to the Haunted Trail," she said, her voice echoing through the woods. The Willow Creek Wanderers were frozen in place, unable to move or speak. They watched in horror as the woman raised her lantern and disappeared into the cabin. The door slammed shut behind her, and the clearing fell silent once more. The Willow Creek Wanderers stood there for a moment, trying to process what had just happened. Then, they turned and ran as fast as they could back down the trail, their hearts pounding in their chests. When they finally reached the safety of their homes, they collapsed in exhaustion. They knew they would never forget the night they had spent on the haunted trail, and they would never venture into the woods again.